This is Eric Beyer of Old Vine, Texas, a new winery tasting room featuring 100% Texas wines from wineries all over the state. We are located in Mansfield, Texas, inside of Ancora Event Center on Broad Street. We have weekly tastings, charcuterie board to enjoy, live music, and a new wine club. Go visit our website at oldvinetexas.com to sign up for our newsletter and learn more. Or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Vine, Texas. We'll see you soon.
Hello, and welcome back to We Know Texas Vino, the podcast that pours into the heart of Texas wine and culture. I had ChatGPT pull that up for me.
Nice. She's my best friend.
I'm like, wow, that is amazing. But we'll go even further. It says, one glass, one story, one region at a time. I am Will, your host and your guide through vineyards and cellars and the people who bring life to them. I can't help but like. I'm going to start making that in my opening.
Yeah, I feel like you should just record that and plug it right in every time.
Exactly. So today, I'm actually honored to have January Wiese. Wiese. Okay, sorry. She is the executive director of the Texas Hill Country Wineries. She's been steering the regional association support wineries across the Hill Country AVA, orchestrating events, educational programs, and helping tell the stories of the Texas wines across the country. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Will.
We've chatted before, and we've had a great conversation. And then actually helped me do a panel a couple of weeks ago, which was our first time meeting.
Yes.
And I asked you to be the host of that show, and
which I was totally fine with. When I said yes, I was like, oh, I'm just going to moderate a panel. And then you got there, and you're like, you're opening, you're closing, you're doing all that stuff. I was paranoid that I was going to mess it up.
You did really good.
Thank you.
I've actually listened to the audio. I haven't put it out there yet, but you did really good.
Thank you.
You're going to be doing it again too. I'm just so you know that.
It was fun.
Well, everybody that comes on the show always say, I'm nervous. And then at the end, they said, oh, we had a great time.
Yeah.
And so it's always awesome to hear people who say, it was fun being on the show. Yeah. So I'm glad you had a good time on the show.
I did. I was honestly nervous about opening and closing the podcast and like talking about your sponsors. I was like, what if I mess that up? Like, it would feel terrible.
Oh, you're perfectly fine. So, well, before we get onto the show, we're going to talk about where you can find the podcast, and I can't even speak yet. You can find us on YouTube at We Know Texas Vino, and of course, any podcasting platform at We Know Texas Vino. And of course, you can find us on Facebook at We Know Texas Vino. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I missed this on the last episode, and I need to start pointing this out more often. We're going to start doing more giveaways because we get a lot of tickets for different events across Texas, and we want to make sure that our listeners get access to those tickets because sometimes there's some really good events that you should not miss. And so when this episode comes out, I've already given away some Valley View Wine Walk tickets. I've also given away some the Drink North Texas events. And then, of course, we got Gainesville coming up. So I'll have some tickets for those pretty soon by the time this one comes out. So keep a watch for us online, enter for some tickets. And then, of course, here really, really soon, I'm going to have some merch.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to put this out there. We'll throw in some Hill Country passport tickets for you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. That would be great.
We'll connect on that.
Yeah, we'll connect on that too. So, Will, January, let's talk about you now. No more about me. So, one of the questions I have here is, let's talk about your beginnings. What drew you into the Texas wine regions, and what was that moment that you experienced that said, this is where I want to do.
Yeah.
Or what I want to do, not where I want to do.
Yeah. So my story starts before Texas.
Okay.
I got into Texas, I'll just preface it, because I married a Texan.
Okay.
I'm from California. I'm from Central Coast, California. My family bought a vineyard and started a winery in 1991 in Templeton, California. Named it after my sister and I. So we grew up in wine. That's all I knew. When I graduated high school, I knew that I wanted to come back and run the family business. And so I went to Montana State University in Bozeman. I went there because they, at the time, were one of the top 5 ag business programs in the nation. And they were a top rodeo school. And so it hit both of my check marks. I went up there to school, graduated, and came home. And I was going to, but I did. I ran the family business from vineyard to tasting room to all the things. and rodeoed on the side. And that's where I met my husband.
Okay.
We actually knew each other in high school, but that's a whole nother story.
Okay. Well, you got time.
Oh, no. He was a bull rider. I was a barrel racer and a rodeo queen. We butted heads. It was something else.
I mean, I see that quite a bit around here in Texas.
Yeah. And then we met up after college and got married. And he actually came on board and worked at our winery with us. And eventually, he's from just outside of Houston. He said, let's go look at maybe moving to Houston, when my family was looking at selling the winery. And so we looked out here. We actually came. So this is my Texas moment.
Okay.
I told him, I was like, I don't know that I can move anywhere. Like, wine is all I know. And I know that there are wine regions across, the U.S., but I didn't know that there was wine in Texas. And so we actually came out to Rodeo Houston to see his parents and saw the wine wall in the little shopping area, and I was blown away about the competition and the Texas wineries and the map. And I looked at Corey and I was like, oh, well, there's a wine region here. Maybe I could work here. Like, let's look into it. And so I applied at a couple of wineries, and I actually got my first job in Texas wine at Flat Creek Estate. Okay. Rick and Madeline Neighbor hired me sight unseen. Just sent them my resume, and we had a couple of phone interviews, and this was before Zoom and all the things, so it was just like a phone call interview. Right. And Madeline hired me as their event coordinator, and so that was my start in Texas wine, and they actually taught me everything I know about Texas wine. Okay. So I was with them for a couple years. Corey actually came on and made wine and worked in the vineyard there as well, and when my family eventually sold our winery, we decided that we could take a little break and kind of do some things on our own. And during that time, a job came open with Texas Hill Country Wineries. And I got to come on as under Katie Jane Seaton from Farmhouse Vineyards now as her event and trail coordinator.
Okay. Nice.
That was 16 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
It's a long time.
Especially when you look at it now and everything that's been going on, that's almost... It seems like eons ago,
It really was. When I was at Flat Creek is a member of THCW, and there were 24 wineries, and now we are at 69 members.
Wow.
Like, it's just, the growth and the change is phenomenal.
Right. Wow. So for people who don't know, because, a lot of people don't know a lot of the acronyms or what all the stuff are out there. So we got multiple different entities out there that support and promote Texas wine out there, and you actually do one of them, and it's called the Texas Hill Country Wineries. Kind of explain to our listeners what that actually is and what you do for the industry.
Yeah. So Texas Hill Country Wineries is a nonprofit trade association. It was started in 1999 by a group of 8 wineries led by Texas Hills Vineyard. And they got together and wanted to increase traffic to their tasting rooms. And so they had a meeting in February of 99. And they decided they were going to host a trail event. That's what they were called. In April for Wine and Wildflower. Okay. And by the time between that meeting and February, which people are like, why do you say that? Because by the time they had that meeting in February and launched the event in April, they doubled the number of wineries that were participating. So people in the region were just on board to get together and market together and host these events together. And so that's how the association started. Okay. They started with 5 trail events around, Valentine's for wine lovers, Wine and Wildflower. They used to have a Harvest Trail event in August, and then Texas Wine Month, of course, and Christmas. Right. And so I think they did those for about 5 years, and then they brought Katie Jane on. And then a handful of years later, I got to come in and start working with them. And the number one goal is to increase traffic to tasting rooms, promote Texas wines, and promote the wineries in the Hill Country. We've expanded since then, and we do a lot more events, and we do industry stuff and everything, which we can get into later. But that really is the goal of THCW. And we have the website, the brochure that we do annually, and now we still do we do 4 passport events, and we changed them up quite a bit. And made them digital and, all kinds of cool stuff. But that's really the goal of what we do, is marketing our wineries here in the Hill Country.
And, people come into the tasting room where I work at all the time, and they talk about how many tasting rooms are here in Fredericksburg. And so off the top of your head, how many do you know that here in Fredericksburg? Let's say you want to go from 290 Austin or to Kerrville, or do you want to just shorten that down?
Well, so Texas Hill Country AVA, we're bound by the TTB boundaries. And so we're the third largest AVA in the U.S. We cover 9 million acres, which is 15,000 square miles. Okay. So about twice a year, I actually pulled the TABC report and I pull out our 8 or 9 counties that are within the Hill Country AVA boundaries. And you can sort by, the counties and what wineries are there just by G permit and active G permits. And so I go through that and I pull out the ones that we know aren't necessarily wineries. There's warehouses, there's duplicates. A lot of wineries have duplicate permits. There's a church on the list that, has wine. I
question that one.
I know. I'll pull it up and send it to you. You can check them out. Okay. There's tasting room onlys and stuff. And so I pull that list. And so this is kind of my backstory to when I say there's 100 to 120 wineries in the Hill Country AVA, which is that 9 million acre area. There was one summer specifically, I live in Dripping Springs, just outside of Austin, and driving over to meetings in Fredericksburg, just along this road in 290. And I would have my notes app open and I would be texting myself the name of a new winery sign that I saw on the road, because it was just like the growth that summer. I can't even remember what year it was just out of this world. And I was like, there's a new one, there's a new one, there's a new one. It was crazy. There was also, I think it was that same summer, there was a rumor that there were 25 pending permits on 290 alone between Johnson City and Fredericksburg.
Holy cow. I tell everybody this. I remember as a kid growing up around here, coming in, we would come and stay at the Lady Bird Johnson State Park, and we would go downtown, and then later on we'd come out and go pick peaches and all that in the orchards and stuff, but you don't see those no more.
Right.
And it makes me sad, but at the same time, I see a new industry emerging, and it's just thriving. It's becoming immersive. And now Fredericksburg is the second largest visited wine region in the United States. I mean, okay, you got to brag about that one, Soon we'll take over.
Yeah. Where'd that guy go?
He went off that way. But it's amazing that my first trip down here, I'll drive through, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, there's a winery, and then next thing you know, I'm driving through again, and I'm like, holy cow, how many wineries are actually down here? Sitting down doing my research, there's a ton down here, and I can see why some people come down here and get overwhelmed by it.
Oh, for sure.
And what's crazy is some of the ones you see on 290 is there's no signs pointing to the ones that are off 290. Right. And so you have to actually use apps like the Texas Wine Lover app to find those. Yeah. Because sometimes those are hidden gems.
Yeah.
So
we have a great map on our website. It's interactive. And so it shows all of our member wineries. And then you can sort we have day trips. So you can sort, if you're just coming out of Austin and you want to stay in Dripping Springs and Driftwood, you can do that day trip. Or if you want to do the North day trip, or Fredericksburg downtown, it's pulled out a handful of different day trips. So you can sort by that. And then you can sort by, on top of that, dog-friendly wineries or kid-friendly or ones with a porch or a patio or food, or you can even filter by what varietals you like. So it kind of helps people plan their trip based on what they like and what they want to do.
Right. See, those are fun. Building stuff like that and building planning trips. I tell people up in North Texas, I tell them, you need to go here and check this out and check this out, and you can do this in a day and do this in a day. And people are like, you ever thought about making money doing that? It's like,
Yeah.
But, in being from the area, and you get to talk to people like that, you get to tell them, you have to go to this place and visit this location. While you're there, you go over here to this restaurant, eat this little restaurant over here. And then when you get done, go see this site over here, and then circle back around and go to that winery. It's always fun interacting with people that are not from the area and telling them where to go.
And there's so much more to do around here. You can make it, you can come taste at a winery and then you can go do Enchanted Rock, or you can go taste at a winery and go, to the river. So there's experiences for everyone.
Well, so here's something it's funny. I've been here many times as a kid, but did you know that not until 4 years ago, I didn't know there was a bat cave here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, how did I not know there's a bat cave here? You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of hidden gems.
Oh, yeah.
Not just in wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this makes it a great region for people to just come out and just tour.
Yeah.
Come have some great wines, but also come and see the sites too. There's a lot of good stuff down here. Over the time that you've been here, you've seen a lot of change. Mm-hmm. Lots of changes from the AVAs to the wineries. In your perspective, with this change, has you seen the production go up, down, kind of stay the same? What about the visitor engagements? How has that been working out also with the wineries and stuff?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of change. Let's talk first about just production and quality. We'll be honest, everybody in Texas wine will tell you that, for a while, not every Texas wine was great. And consumers saw that, and not just consumers, trade saw that. And, there's a saying that I was taught that it takes a consumer 8 years to get over their first bad experience with something. Right. And so, when I started, I feel like we were in that bad experience era. But we are definitely out of that. And that is huge props to the wineries that are popping up across the hill country and across the state, and the quality of wine that they're putting out, and the growers, growing what works well here in the hill country and in the high plains and in the Gulf Coast, and knowing what those are. Right. And then our winemakers taking those and making excellent wines out of them. So that has changed enormously. There were times where we would go to events and wine would be brought and it would kind of be put to the side and not necessarily promoted or opened for consumers, because it just, it was not the best of what Texas had to offer. We don't have that anymore. It's so hard to pick out wines to showcase because there's so many, in the marketing and PR stuff that we do on our side, there's so many good ones. I keep a spreadsheet. Our team keeps a spreadsheet of who we've used for what, so that we can we used them this time. So now, we use a handful of different wineries, and we keep that going so that we can make sure that, everybody's covered, because it's not just a go-to handful of wineries that are doing a great job anymore.
Right. I brought my folks down here earlier this year for the very first time. We drink North Texas wines, we drink some East Texas wines and stuff, but they've never got to have any hill country wines. So brought them down here for an event, and I had plans to go to 3 different wineries. We ended up going to one winery and not even leaving there, because we ended up having cigars and good wine and good fellowship. Yeah. And when you find something like that, it's hard to leave to go to a different one, because it just makes that experience so great. So now, the last time we came down here, we went to 3 different wineries. I made sure we didn't go to that same one. We went to 3 different ones, and every one of them they had a great experience with. Yeah. And that's what people are looking for. People are looking for that experience.
They are. And I will tell you, we used to rely heavily on hospitality here in our marketing. And Texas hospitality is bar none the best. No matter where you're from, you just come here and you feel like you're at home, and everybody welcomes you in, and from wineries to hotels everywhere. Right. But in our marketing, we relied heavily on that. Come here because of the hospitality. And it hasn't changed. It's only gotten better. Our, wineries are doing a lot of education for their staff on hospitality and, hosting and all that stuff. But now we don't have to rely on that much anymore, because everybody already knows that. Right. And now it's the wines that are the standout, which is amazing.
So I want to ask a question. If you can't answer this, just say I plead the fifth. Okay.
Yes.
So if you were going to a new winery, XYZ, what are the 3 or 4 things you're looking for to make that new winery to become a standout winery, to make the best experience possible so they get bragged about for the next time?
So what am I looking for personally when I want to go to a new winery? For you personally,
but just for them to have, because every winery here in the Hill Country all have to almost, I hate to say the word gimmick, but you almost have that one little thing that makes you stand out from everybody else.
Sure.
And so what do you think are some of the key things that make you stand out, that make you more memorable, so people come back the next time?
Yeah. So number one is good wine.
Right.
And for me, that's grown here, made here,
right.
Good wine. Because you know what grows here, you know how to work with it, you know how to make it. So that's number one. Hospitality is number two.
Now, when you say hospitality, that's a big window.
That's true.
You want to talk about like knowledgeable on what you're pouring, knowledgeable about the experiences that you're having, that kind of stuff.
I think, no, education. So that's really hard. No, it's fine. Like, because I'm trying to think like as a consumer, but also on our side, like marketing side, and then also being in the industry side, like it doesn't all necessarily. Three different hats.
You got to kind of, like, you got to switch them in and out,
So
sorry to put you on the spot.
No, it's totally fine. I think for me and for the consumer and where we are in Texas wine, on the hospitality side, it is two things. One, making sure that we stand apart from, and we do, from other wine regions that tend to lean on the snobby side, and make sure that we're not that.
Correct.
So it's that true, genuine Texas spirit, that hospitality. You're here, your family. But then combined with that, once you're welcomed in, is that education based on where we are in Texas wine. That's huge. And that's going to make any winery stand out. And that's only going to help the rest of our region, the Hill Country and the entire state, is if a winery's staff is trained to educate the consumer on varietals that we're tasting, because let's be honest, there's over 80 varietals in Texas that people are making and have in their tasting rooms. And some of them are not, they're different. They're not varietals that people are used to, And so that education and the education of, where our fruit comes from and the, backstory of Texas wine and what we're doing and how we're growing. So I think it's for hospitality, it's kind of that combination, like the welcoming spirit and that education. If that makes sense.
And I have found in my travels in different tasting rooms, I found that for me, a great experience is when the person who's pouring the wine knows about their wine, knows where the grapes are coming from, and they're somewhat educated on the history of that grape. I mean, for example, let's talk about Pic Pull Blanc. Okay. First off, I just love saying the word Pic Pull Blanc. And when I say it, I get that whole that marbly mouthfeel,
the lip stinger,
And so when people hear that, they're like, I've never heard of that before. Well, let me tell you about it. Well, Pic Pull Blanc in English means lip stinger. And they look at me funny. I was like, well, it's kind of like what you women put on your lip to pump it up. And they look at me funny. And I'm like, I kissed somebody once with that. And I'm like, get it off my lip. Get it off. Get it off.
I would rather drink Pic Pull Blanc all day long than put that stuff on. That's terrible.
That's funny you say that. Awful. So I tell them about it and I explain it to them. And I said, your typical Pic Pull is going to be acidic. It's going to hit right here. It's kind of like eating a Sour Patch Kid, and they look at me like, oh, I like Sour Patch Kids. And they drink it. And they're like, oh, that is different. Introduce people to new stuff. In fact, actually, one of my favorite things is when people come into the tasting room, I'll ask them, I'll say, well, what is your teddy bear? And they look at me funny. I was like, what is your go-to? What makes you comfortable? What makes you feel happy? And of course, they tell, what are the three main ones? Capsule, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. Those are what people, or Pinot Grigio or Sauvignon Blanc. Those are the ones, or Chardonnay. Those are the ones that people get, they're warm and fuzzies on it. And I tell them, I said, when you come into a tasting room, try something new. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, well, because you're in a tasting room, you're not in this region ever, or very rarely, try something different. And they're like, okay. And then I will pour them something that they've never heard of before. And they're like, oh. And I tell them, you're in a new area, try it. I'm always down. I actually, one of my last trips down here, I did Touriga Nacional.
Oh, yeah.
And I fell in love with it. And it seemed like every winery I went to had one. So I bottled that every time.
I had never tasted an Albarino until like 10 years ago. And I tasted one and I was like, yep, this is it. So every time I see it, no matter if it's a Texas Albarino or not, I'm like, I love this. I love this varietal. So if it's on a list, I'm going to have a glass.
Oh, yeah. And that's another great one.
So I think this is something that you can use in the tasting room yourselves, or yourself. When we just launched this tool, this wine style selector with
read about that
Wine for Me and Vine Sleuth with Amy Gross. And what it is you go on, and I'm just going to pull it up here. So you go on, like there's a link on our website. Okay. All of our wineries will have a QR code to it. It's for Texas wine in general. Okay. So we collected 180 something bottles from the Hill Country wineries and we sent them over to Amy and her team. And we had anywhere from 15 to 5 bottles of about 24 different varietals. Okay. And so she took them, and some of the, there were Hill Country AVA labeled wines. There were High Plains. There were just Texas. There were vineyard specific. So she put all the varietals, in categories and tasted them and came up with a flavor profile on them. So when you have somebody come into your tasting room and they've never heard of any of these varietals that, some of the wineries are tasting, and they're like, we don't know what we like Chardonnay, but we don't know what we like. But why do you like Chardonnay? Like, what's your flavor profile? Like, how sweet do you like a wine? How intense do you like a wine? How much spice do you want on a wine? How much oak? How much minerality? And so you have them go through this, and then you pop it up down here, and it shows you the top wines for what your flavor profile is. And then, of course, you can go on and click Learn More. And for us, it goes and shows you a list of wines on the Wine Folly page that our Hill Country wineries have. But because it's a generic Texas wine, group of wines, it's not specific to Hill Country or High Plains. It can be used in any tasting room or winery across the state. And you can really help your consumer find what Texas wine is going to best fit.
Interesting.
For them.
I may have to make some changes on our iPads at work.
It's super cool. Well, actually, Amy's goal is that when somebody comes in, you have a QR code and they do it on their phone, because then they have it. And then they can use it at another winery or at another event. When they're at a big event and there's tables and tables of Texas wine and different wineries, and they don't want to taste all of them, maybe they go to this flavor profile tool and they say, okay, well, this tells me that I like a Picpoul Blanc, so I'm going to go find all the Picpoul Blancs at this event and only taste those, or something like that.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I'm
so excited about it.
Yeah. Okay, and that's on the webpage right now?
We have a link on our website.
Okay. And I'll make sure it gets in the show notes so people can find it. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Well, so there's a winery in North Texas, Lone Star Winery. They developed something like that off of a spreadsheet. And so you come on and you select almost similar to the same stuff, but it gave it about their wines. Yeah. And I thought that was the neatest thing since sliced bread. Yeah.
And Amy does that. She does that specifically for wineries. But when she brought this to us, it was, at first it was doing, a couple wines from each of our wineries. And then we kind of brainstormed and thought, what if it's all Texas wines? Because I think that would help all of us. So,
and I know you're specific to the Hill Country, but it's awesome that you actually did that for all of Texas and not just for the Hill Country. Yeah. Because there is wines all over the place that's not here in the Hill Country. Yeah. So,
and I work for Texas Hill Country Wineries, and these are my people, but Texas wine is a force across the state. And if you're not coming to the Hill Country, if I have friends or family or even consumers that reach out to us and they're like, we're coming to Texas. And we're like, okay, are you coming, to the Hill Country? Oh no, we're going to Dallas. Okay. Well, here is a list, here's a website that you can check out for other wineries. We actually use Texas Wine Lover more than anything. And we're just like, go here. This is where you're going anywhere else besides here. Go, use this website and find wineries across the state.
Okay, I have to ask you. You made a comment there. I have to ask this question. Yeah. So down here in the Hill Country, when people say, "Well, I'm going to go up to North Texas to drink wine," do you hear that down here quite a bit? Because up in North Texas, we hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm going to the Hill Country to drink wine." Yeah. Do y'all hear that down here quite a bit?
No. Not often.
Okay. I'm just curious. Because, in some places, like in California, people have come in and said, if you're in a certain region over here, we're going to go over here and drink wine over here. And this region over here said, we're going to go down here and drink wine down here. So I didn't know the same thing down here.
I don't think yet. I think that it'll get there. I really do. I just think that the Hill Country is so well known, and it's wine, yes, but it was also the Hill Country is the Hill Country. Like when we moved out here, my mother-in-law was like, you're moving to the hill country. We're moving to the hill country with you. Like, it's such an iconic place.
Right.
And it's, I say it all the time, like if you build it, they will come.
Right.
And it was here. The tourism aspect was here with Fredericksburg. The infrastructure was here, and then the wine came,
right.
and then and more wine came, and more wine came, and then consumers came, and more consumers
right.
came. But I do think that will spread across the state.
Yeah, I think when people start really seeing. So first off, I love coming to the hill country. I mean, if I could move down here, I would in a heartbeat. Just got to find a job. But I mean, I love it down here. I mean, first off, I'm an avid motorcycle rider.
Yeah.
So where do I gravitate to when I go ride? Is down here.
So pretty.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous, especially during the springtime when the bluebonns are full of bloom. You see the vines out in bloom, and you're just driving through it. Everything is just absolutely beautiful. In fact, actually, what was it? Hawk Shadow. Mm-hmm. I was out there, and man, sitting on their patio and just looking at that hills rolling over there, and you're like. And I took a picture of it, and then I looked at the picture, and then I looked at it again. I said, "It just doesn't.
It doesn't
do justice."
I know. I was just up there the other day, and I brought my phone out, and I was like, "I'm going to take a picture of this view," and it really doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't get you want to be zoomed in because you want to see that detail out there, but you can't because it's so massive, and it's just it's so gorgeous.
It's and. We try so hard to try to capture each moment at every winery, and some places you just can't do it.
Yeah.
You have to see it for yourself.
Yeah.
And actually, where we're at right now, Asterisk is one of those. I mean, I took some pictures and sent to my mom and my stepdad. I said, y'all should see this. And they look at the pictures and they say, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is. I know. It's so gorgeous.
But I mean, coming out here though, it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Pulling in through the gate, you got the granite driveway and you see the vineyard. And then I guess they have a big event center way over there.
I think so, yeah.
So you see all this and you're just like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But you take a picture and you send it to somebody like, hey, we should come here.
Yeah. They're like, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Especially right now. It's a little brown, but yeah.
But that's Texas though. It's Texas. So, ironically, I answered like 30 questions.
I know, sorry.
No, you're good because it's the way it's supposed to work. So, I think this is one you told me is an iffy question. Okay. How do you balance promoting your region-wide identity with preserving each member's unique voice?
That one I wasn't iffy about.
Okay. I'm trying to be careful here.
No, it's totally fine.
It's a fine line. You and I both have to be Switzerland on this whole thing. Yeah. And so we can't say what our favorite winery is because then that means we're going to be over here. Yeah. We can't say we don't like this winery over here because again, it's you and I both have this fine line that we had to walk.
And I am very loyal to our members, and like I just was on a call the other day with somebody that asked me if I'd been to or if I knew 2 wineries down here on 290 were not our members, and I had to say I don't. I don't. I'm sorry. My people are, they're my focus.
Right.
So I couldn't tell her anything about their wines or anything. But balancing the regional identity and the individual members, it is a fine line as well. And especially because we have, wineries that are 100% Texas wine. We have wineries that are hill country wines only. We have wineries that are making their wine in the high plains and bringing it down. We have wineries that, are bringing in fruit or wine from out of state to, fill their tasting sheets. And so that side of it is, we just have to promote the region itself and the amazing wines and the hospitality and the people. And that's how I pick wines and wineries is the people.
Right.
It's
fair.
The relationships and that kind of stuff for me personally. But then within THCW, originally it was very strict. You had to participate in all of the trail events. You had to do all of this stuff. And as we grew, we realized that not all of that fits everyone. And so they went back and changed the bylaws and made the passports optional. All of our events are optional.
Okay.
So if it fits you and your business, then you participate.
Okay.
If it doesn't, then you don't have to.
Right.
And that's totally fine. Everybody's on the website. Everybody's on Wine Folly. Everybody's in the brochure and map. But if all these other little things that we do, the road shows, the passports, the winemaker dinners, if those don't fit you, then you don't have to participate. And I think that really changed our approach to promoting our wineries and Texas wine in general. Right. You know, we weren't forcing wineries to participate in something they didn't want to, so they weren't crabby about it. And they weren't, you know, the customers weren't having a bad experience there. And then we've actually had some wineries come back specifically to the passport program now that it is optional, and they can do reservations and, you know, do those things, and they're loving it, you know?
Awesome.
So,
okay. So I got 2 questions that just generate off of that right there. Okay. So first off, to be part of the Texas Hill Country wine, do you have to have a specific amount of number of wines that are Texas specific? You mentioned that some people were bringing wines in from different regions, countries, whatever. Yeah. Do you have a specific amount of wine that you have to have in your tasting room for Texas to be part of your community?
Not exactly. Okay. Our bylaws are tight. We have 2 membership levels for wineries. Okay. We have the full winery member, which is you have to be a full production winery in the Hill Country AVA boundaries, which is the TTB boundaries. Full production is you are making wine on site. You don't have to have a vineyard, but you are making wine on site, and you have a tasting room that's selling wine under your brand. Okay. There is currently it's going to be up for a vote, but there's 1,000 case limit or a minimum on that right now. But it doesn't say that it has to be Texas or not. Okay. And then we have the affiliate membership, which is where wineries like Texas Wine Collective, Bingham Farmhouse, their wines are made in Texas, but not in the Hill Country, but their tasting room selling the wines under their label is here. With that, though, 100% of your wines have to be made in Texas. Okay. Doesn't have to be 100% Texas fruit, but they all have to be made here at a Texas-based and fully licensed facility. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you know, I do have, for me, you know, you have to have at least 2 Texas wines in your tasting room. I mean, because I'm pushing and promoting Texas wines. And so I feel that, you know, if I'm going to do that, I need you to have at least 2 Texas wines. You know,
well, I can tell you that all of our members have at least 2 Texas wines and way more. We honestly don't have, there's a handful of members that are bringing in, you know, outside fruit and wines. But that's the comment that on social really gets, us riled up is Texas doesn't even make their own wine. Yes. And it just, if you would come here and you would come talk to them and sit down and taste those wines, you would know that, you know, they do. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. I get that. I get that told a lot of times. Yes. Texas don't make their own wines. I'll tell you what, let's go get my truck right quick. I can take you to a couple of wineries right now that actually do their own stuff, full on production.
Yeah. So, it's so frustrating.
And so you talked about the passport.
Yeah.
So explain to our listeners what the passport is for y'all.
So the passport, we do 4 a year. Right now we're doing Texas Wine Month passport, so we'll talk specifically about that. We'll have Christmas Wine Affair coming up in starting late November and go through December. But the passport is right now 31 days, all of October, celebrating Texas Wine Month. You purchase a ticket on our website. It's for Texas Wine Month, $120 a couple. Okay. So it's $60 a person, or $85 for an individual. And you get a QR code, and you can take that out to the wineries. We have 53 participating wineries for Texas Wine Month this year, and you can visit 4 wineries a day. You scan your code at each winery, and then it tells the winery that yes, either you haven't been there before or you haven't visited 4 in the day. And you get a full complimentary tasting, and that's up to each winery on what they offer. Okay. You know, it doesn't include wine club wines or on sale wines or anything like that usually, but it's, you know, the base of their tasting. Right. And then right now you get a 15% discount on 3 bottle purchases.
Oh, okay.
It's a really great value because if you break down that a couple's ticket is really $60 a person. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're looking at $25 as the average tasting fee down here. Yeah. And so you're paying for that in almost 3 stops, right, per person. and you can visit for a day for an entire. You can visit all 53 in the month. So it's last time we ran the numbers, $900 value.
And North Texas does something similar to that as well. I call it maximizing your wine drinking experience. Because, you going to, it's 40 wineries for like $50.
Yeah.
And we don't have a 4-day limit because, most of them are not open, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, but it's a great event, especially if you're trying to learn about wine in that region.
Yeah.
Get this passport. Come down here. You may not be able to spend the whole month down here, but come down here at least for 3 or 4 days and hit as many as you can. And if you're close, like if you live in San Antonio, it's not that far. It's only an hour drive.
We actually have, over the last handful of years, updated the passport. It used to be that you could visit as many wineries as you wanted in a day. And we were seeing that people were running in, grabbing a taste and running out and like getting their stamp and like leaving and not experiencing the winery, not doing the full tasting, not really taking in what they have to offer. And so when we went to this for a day option, it really, we're telling you to slow down, take your time, do the whole tasting, learn more from the staff, and don't do, if you don't do 4 a day, that's fine, because even if you do 2 one day and 1 the next day, you've paid for your ticket, right? And so do the tasting, get to know the staff, have a glass of wine on the patio, like slow down and really enjoy it. And both the winery and the consumer was like a little at first, when we did this change, which was like 6 years ago or something, there was a little trepidation, like we can't visit everybody, but now that we're in it, they like that slower pace and not feeling like they have to rush to get everywhere in a day, and the wineries love it.
And I think that is a much better option, because if you're coming in there and you're taking wine shots, and you're walking out, you're not taking in what that winery has to offer, and you're missing out on something that could be potential. Let's just call it life changing.
Yeah. It could be.
We know how it is.
Yeah.
We know how this wine has changed people's lives and stuff. So that's awesome. I really like that. I really like that y'all do that. Now, I'm going to just throw this out at you.
Yeah.
You got people that come in and visit the region. What if you did on those months, if you do something like that, do like a visitor passport where they don't feel like they have to buy that and miss out on 30 days. Maybe do like a weekend type thing.
Well, because it's such a good value, we do have people that if they just come, for a weekend, they do buy it because it is such a value. It pays for itself, like I said, in 2 visits, really. So we do have people that, we have people actually have this couple that lives in Kerrville that buys a ticket to almost every single one, and they buy 2 couples tickets, one for them. And then they buy one because then when they have guests come in, they can take guests to, 3 wineries one weekend. And then if they have guests come in a couple weekends later, they can bring them to another 3 wineries. Okay. So it really does pay for itself in a couple of days. But what we have found is that we got a lot of questions. Like, we only do them 4 times a year. And then this year we did a Barrels and Bites, like an elevated passport experience, which is just only 1 weekend, and it's either a barrel tasting or a food and wine pairing, kind of just that elevated experience for people. But we get people in the off months that are like, well, we're coming. Do you have a passport? Can we buy a ticket? And we only do those 4. And so next year we will be launching a summer passport. It'll be the entire months of June, July, and August.
So for 3 months. That will be fun. Okay, I'm going to have to remember that. So this is when I read this. Actually, I had to stop and think about this one also. So, which grape varieties have surprised you both positive and negatively in terms of performance here in Texas? So which ones you thought that were going to do really good that just kind of underperforming, and which ones were like you didn't think it was going to make it, and all of a sudden just became big?
Well, I've already mentioned Albarino. I just love that from anywhere at this point in my life. So even though I'm in wine and been in wine forever, I don't drink a lot of red wine. Okay. And so honestly, when Tanat came on, I was like, personally, I'm like, live without it, right? But it has really taken off here and just thrived, and there are some really great wines coming out of, the Tannat that's grown here. So that's probably one. And I don't know that I would say it surprised me, but I changed my view on it because I was like, okay, I'll try it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Overall, I mean, I just, the ones that impress me the most, and I think it's a combination of what's grown here and what the wineries what the winemakers are doing with it is, Mourvèdre, Cinsault, Grenache. I'm clearly a rosé drinker. So I stole this from Denise Clark 12 years ago. She was on a panel and somebody said something about rosé all day. And she said rosé all year. And I said, girl, yes. So I say that all year long. But I love the versatility of those three varietals that, they are making some really great red wines for people who are drinking those all the time. And then they're making them for me specifically to drink in rosé.
Look at you.
And then anybody who's making a sparkling rosé, I feel like they made it just for me.
And I'm going to just call this one out. I know you can't do it, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the one that Elisa Christopher's got.
The Pinot.
Yes. That's just.
It's phenomenal.
I've tried one before, and it wasn't a Texas one, but it was shipped in, sold at a winery that I go to, and I tried it, and it was too acidic for me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, I don't like this. Sparkling is not supposed to be acidic.
Yeah.
And I tried hers, and I'm like, okay. Well, we're going to have some bacon, some eggs, some little...
we did a tasting there for a trade members that came out to visit, and hers was the first tasting of the day, and she brought out Chick-fil-A breakfast biscuit sandwiches and served it with the sparkling Pinot, and we were like, we're done. This is it. We're just going to live here. So good.
Oh, man, I got to go back out there now and visit, get another bottle.
So good.
Because we already drank that one, so I got to get another bottle now.
Of course.
So, we're going to kind of hound this in. So if someone new was to come to Texas and wants to plan a weekend down here, I know this is going to be a hard one for you to answer. But you kind of already answered it a little bit. Where's the best way to get information to find some of the best wineries? I don't even know how I want to use that word right there.
Well, I think what it is finding the best wineries for you.
Okay, there we go. I like that.
And that's how we approach, our team approaches any consumer that calls or emails or gets in touch with us is, okay, well, what do you want out of this experience? Because there are not just our members, but there are so many other wineries here that you can get a different experience, based on what you're coming for. Are you bringing your kids? You see it on my face. My kids are grown. They're amazing. Are you bringing your little kids? There are certain wineries that are going to work for you. If you're going to try to go Abastris, they're kid friendly. Right. But if you're going to try to go to a winery that's not, you're not going to have a good experience. And then it really is that, and there's so many options. Like I said earlier, there's the day trips. What region of the hill country are you going to? What kind of wines do you like? Right. We're not going to send you to somebody that's like a red house. If you are a sweet wine drinker, we're going to find you a group of wineries that, and when we're helping somebody plan a trip, we're trying to stick to 3 to 4 recommendations a day, and making sure that there's a lunch stop on the way, if it's at a winery or if there's a place to stop on the way. So it really, I know that's kind of skirting the question, but that's how we approach it is what's best for you. What are you looking for? What do you want to do?
Okay. So I'm going to see if I'm going to ask a question now. Okay. And I'm going to see if you can answer it.
Okay.
So of all these wineries right here that offer food, can you tell me which ones you like going to just for the food? Yeah. Not about the wine, just for the food only. I can tell you right now, there's a couple of them that I like. Okay. Longhorn is one of them. Yep. I love the food there. And then my favorite one, especially on a Thursday, Cibonnet.
Oh, my God.
I mean, Cuban sandwich.
I know.
I mean,
I haven't had one there, but we did our inspection there. They were prepping it for the next day or something like that. And then he showed us the bread fridge. And I was like,
yeah, he has bread brought in from Florida.
The smell, it's just Yeah, that would probably be, and I haven't even had it, but the smell and oh my God, it was amazing. The food there, I can't wait to have some time to get over and try it. I do love the restaurant at Grape Creek, stouts. And I love me a good charcuterie board.
You know,
I'm
a good adult Lunchable is amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's just call it as it is, an adult Lunchable.
Yes.
Let's just call it as it is.
It is so we do birthday dinners in our house. So you tell me what your favorite meal is, and I make it for your birthday. Mine is charcuterie board. Like that's what I want for my
I don't
birthday
think you want to know what mine is. Stuffed chicken marsala.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of work, though.
So
my husband's favorite meal is a lot of work too. I do
What's
it.
This?
Well, it's this lemon chicken recipe that his mom has had forever, which is so good. But we're having it tonight, actually.
Okay.
But it's a lot of work.
Hey, you know what's good?
But yeah, food here, the charcuterie, and a lot of our wineries have really great charcuterie boards.
And a lot of them curate. They bring in, so, we know that some of the wineries go down to the local store and pick up stuff. Some of these actually have cheeses and meats, exotic meats and cheeses shipped in specifically for their stuff.
And they've paired those with their wines specifically, so the whole experience really comes together.
Yeah. I think good cheese and cracker and a good wine is just
all day long.
All day long. So
with rosé.
You're killing me with that. So, last question here for you. What gets you most excited about the next 5 years in Texas wine?
Honestly, I don't know what the sequence of airing is, but I got to sit here and listen to you interview Mike and Kristen with Abastris. I have recently listened to the Go Texan shorter episodes that they're putting out for Texas Wine Month with Brian from Sandy Road and Katie Jane from Farmhouse. And and I've known these people and their stories for 16 years or however new Abastris is and Sandy Road. And I am so excited. Like every time I listen to those stories, like I sat over here in the corner, like just smiling. I love these people in this industry and listening to their stories. I don't know. I can't pinpoint what I'm most excited about, but I'm like as one thing, but it's their growth. Right. It's their continued growth as people and family businesses and Texas wine. Like there's no limits for them. I mean, the state is huge, right? Yeah. There's so many things that they can do. And one of the things I love about Texas wineries is they're not afraid to test the limits and experiment, experiment with different varietals, experiment with rosé, experiment with sparkling, which is like crushing it right now. And so I love that. And I'm excited to see what all of these wineries are doing. Like I text somebody the other day and I was like, listen to your podcast. And she was like, why are you listening to my podcast? Like, she was on it. And I was like, because I love hearing them talk about like the one with Texas wine growers that you did and listening to them all talk about their stories and their wineries and their wines and what they're doing. I don't know. It's so exciting.
It is. It is exciting to hear what is here now and what is coming.
Yeah.
And it may not be what they expect to be.
Yeah.
It may be better. Yeah. It may be not. I mean, but if you don't ever try, you never know.
Right.
I mean, let's say, for example, Sandy Roads. Yeah. I know that they had a red varietal that they were the only vineyard in the United States.
Yeah, he just said that on the podcast. I cannot remember the name.
I can't remember it, but I tell you this. Yeah. I judged that at the Lone Star International. Mm-hmm. And it came across the table under the Pinot Noirs because it was the only one. Yeah. And I looked at it and I said, that's not a Pinot Noir. I mean, I could just tell by the color that it just wasn't a Pinot Noir. And I tasted it and I was like, this is definitely not a Pinot Noir. And I remember that number and I looked it up and I found out who it was. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And do you know I yet to get a bottle? They already sold out of it.
You're right. Oh, I was going to say you're right down the road. Dang it.
Yeah, they already sold out of it. They sold out of it a while back. Yeah, I kept going to the website, and it was only for members only.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if I could sweet talk to somebody.
Yeah, I feel like they might have some.
But, I mean, it's that kind of stuff that excites and invigorates the Texas wine industry, because I know there's some other experimental vines being grown here that we don't know about yet.
Tannat was a surprise. Sagrantino, like whoever thought that would be a Texas wine, and it's thriving here. They're just, I love that about them. They're not afraid to try stuff. I will tell you one thing I'm afraid of is judging. I have been asked to judge San Antonio. I was just asked to judge Houston, and I was like, no, that's not my side. I know my lane. That is not my lane.
I would love to judge Houston.
Cannot do it.
I would love to judge Houston. Actually, I'm trying to judge at Fort Worth. I'm on right now. I'm on San Antonio strike right now.
Yeah, totally get it. That's not why I did it. That's not why I've been saying no to them for years. I just, I don't have the palate for it. But I think people ask me because I'm in wine and I've been in wine for so long. They're like, oh, surely she must know. I went to Texon for the first time like 10, 12 years ago. I was, like I said, but when I found Albarino, I was blown away by that side of the industry. And I was like, not mine. I can't do that. Right. That's not me. But I love that you're doing those.
You'd be surprised how much your palate knows. I mean, I don't know. You don't drink any red, so I
do. I actually had red wine last night. I sent some friends a picture, and I actually did a photo shoot for. This is so weird. The Taylor Swift release. I know. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Did I lose it?
Yeah.
Did I lose that?
Yeah. I have a 19-year-old daughter. We are big Swifties. My boys hate it. But I got out a bottle of red wine, and I got out my beautiful Riedel glass, and I got out my disco balls, and I did a photo shoot, and I was like, well, I can't let this go to waste. So I did drink. I do drink red wine, but
you crack me up. Every time I meet you, we laugh. So. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about? Is there anything I missed that you should chat about like that?
I think we have talked about all of it.
I mean, really, this is a really great conversation. I would love to do another session with you on this. Maybe in a year and see how things have changed since then. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I know you and I have been exchanging text messages and emails for a while and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we've talked about some things just before we got on, started recording.
Yeah.
So we're going. Go ahead.
I mean, I think that's maybe one thing that we didn't really talk about. We talked about it before we started recording was symposium.
Oh yeah.
That whole side of THCW. When I came from Paso, and they used to do tasting room manager luncheons monthly, and it was just like a networking kind of general conversation luncheon for anybody in a tasting room. And so we brought that here, and we do them, every other month here, and I think we're doing them quarterly now. But it really evolved with our relationship with A&M and bringing in education for our growers and our winemakers. And one year we sat down, and I was with John Ravenberg and Chris Brundrett, and they're like, we should do a conference. And so we came up with this symposium. We'll be celebrating 12 years of that next year. It's at Horseshoe Bay Resort. It's 2.5-ish days of industry education, from vineyard topics to winery to business topics. Okay. And that business topic covers everything from marketing to, we've had people come talk about insurance. We've had people come talk about, remember the word, passing your business along to your, family,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have wine tastings, specific wine tastings, hill country fruit, Texas High Plains fruit, specific tastings. We're going to have a blind tasting this year. So we have a dinner, we have a happy hour networking thing. We have vendors. It's really awesome for industry members, and it's open to everyone. It's not just for the hill country. We talk about everything Texas, but it's a great opportunity to, if you're getting into the industry, to come learn about it, or if you just want to come see everybody.
Interesting. I do know two people that are working to actually get further into the industry. My folks got 5 acres they're wanting to plant.
Yeah.
So we just got the property cleared off, and they bought them their first tractor.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, so we're getting there slowly but surely. So, well, thank you again for coming on here.
Thank you.
Before we get into our wine quotes, I'm going to give thanks to my sponsors. So, Texas Wine Lover, obviously, great app out there. We talked about them a while ago. How to use that to find a lot of wineries here in Texas. Search for the same thing you're talking about in y'all's little app. Find great wines, find food, find kid friendly, dog friendly, whatever you're looking for. And then also Old Vine, Texas, over in Mansfield. Eric and Emily has curated some Texas hill country wines to bring up there to North Texas for those people who don't want to travel down here, because it is a 4-hour drive down here. Unless you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's 3 hours.
No traffic.
No traffic whatsoever. But there is deer.
Oh yeah, that's a different kind of traffic.
Oh yeah, and then of course High Camp Flask. And I heard you. I know you probably heard me talk about it a while ago, but it's a great little thing. It looks like an old Coleman thermos. Both ends is a magnetic tumbler. You pull them apart. It holds a bottle of wine at perfect temperature up to 24 hours. Yeah. And we put that to the test, and we left some wine in there and in the sun for a couple hours. We tried it, and it was still chilled. It wasn't hot. It was still chilled, and that's amazing. Yeah. Now, after 24 hours, I can't guarantee what it's going to be like, but it says 24 hours on the bottle. Yeah. So if you get your nice rosé, and you chill it and you put it in there, it should hold it up to temperature for 24 hours.
You know your audience.
Well, with all that being said, and I think my iPad just died on me, so hang on, let me pull up my email on my other phone here because I got some wine quotes here. I've been sticking with the Texas wine quote thing, and some of these I've actually generated off of ChatGPT. But actually,
like I said earlier, she's my best friend. We use her all the time.
It's being in IT, we try not to, especially in the hospital region, we try not to use it because there's so many things that can cause some stuff to happen. Yeah. But I've actually started getting more into using it lately. Yeah. And it's actually, some of it has been really great. Yeah. Some of it's like, you still got to learn it, but it's okay. Yeah. So the first one is Texas wine. It's bold, it's honest, and a little sun-kissed. I like that one. And then I think this was really good. Wine from Texas doesn't whisper. It hums with the heats and the heritage.
I love it.
I feel like there's something else that needs to fall at the end of that.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's all it was.
Yeah.
Heat I like and heritage. Yeah, I like that. So, well, this is Will.
And this is January.
And this is We Know Texas Vino. Cheers.
Cheers.